Tom Clark's 6M podcast is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's 6M podcast. I'm your host, Tom Clark, and in this episode, I'm joined by co-host Phil Lindsey.
So for those of you who were at the San Diego Comic-Con this last weekend, I hate all of you. I don't really hate all of you. I just have never been. So I always admire from a distance, and I always tell everybody that will bother to listen, hey man, that'll be me in there one day. Throngs of people, elbow to elbow, everybody sweating on each other, bumping into famous people, trying to get some books signed, being exhausted by the end of the day for the weekend even. Maybe one day, kids. Not maybe. I'll get there eventually. But, man, we had some cool stuff come out last weekend from Hall H, from Marvel, and that's what we're going to talk about here today, kids. And I'm telling you, man, if you're a Marvel fan, you are excited because I thought they had a great weekend. But we're going to get into it here today. Before we do, kids, let's do this. Hall H at the San Diego Comic-Con has been the place where Marvel has created some of its biggest moments. It's where we first heard about the future of the MCU, where major casting announcements happened, and where Marvel reminded everyone why these events became must-see pop culture moments in the first place. But this year's presentation came at an interesting time, as Marvel's been trying to rebuild momentum after some mixed reactions from fans, while also preparing for some of the biggest projects in the history of the franchise. With Avengers Doomsday on the horizon, the return of major legacy characters, and the future of the MCU continuing to expand, Marvel has had a lot to prove. So today we're breaking down all the biggest announcements, reveals, casting news, footage descriptions, and what all this means for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that is your lowdown today for the MCU reveals and news at Hall H. So, Phil, have you been to the San Diego Comic-Con before, man?
I have not, as somebody that's been a fan for a long time. Even before Marvel Studios became the powerhouse that it became, I've always wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con. It's always been a bucket list for me. I've always wanted to at least go to either San Diego or New York Comic-Con. But yeah, seeing the Hall of H stuff, it felt like they were kind of back. And I mean, I guess compared to the reveal last year, or was that last year or 2 years ago when they did
2 years ago
did the reveal that Robert Downey Jr. is back to play Doom. There was things about this that felt like what we've seen this company do with Hall H before. The most I would say it felt more like a big moment was Deadpool in the crowd.
So cool.
That felt like one of those moments. Like I don't remember what year that was when they did the Hall of H, and Tom Hiddleston came out in the Loki garb, and he's like talking to everybody, and he's like Neil and all of this stuff, and it felt like a huge moment. We haven't had something like that in a while. The Deadpool thing was the first thing in a long time that reminded me of that.
I'm Loki of Asgard, and I'm burdened with glorious purpose. I love that, man. Hiddleston's the best. It did feel like they were back to me too, man. They skipped Hall H in 2025. By the way, DC skipped. Did DC have something this year? They at least had lanterns, didn't they?
I don't think that they announced anything big. Boy, the trailer for Lanterns does look really good, though. The last trailer they dropped, I thought it looked fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, too. I don't want to get too distracted with the DC stuff, but no, I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
I think they're back. But, this coming from me, Phil, I'm a little biased because I'm here for Marvel. I'm always in the bag. Even as people around me continue to throw stones, I'm like, everybody calm down. Just don't watch it. Why are you so mad? Just don't watch it. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Man, let's kick off with the Deadpool stuff. Ryan Reynolds spends all day on the convention floor in that freaking denim Deadpool outfit. taking pictures. Nobody knew who it was, of course. And then later the day, all those folks in there are like, wait a minute. And like realizing I got a picture of Ryan Reynolds on my phone now. Dude, how cool is that, man? I love this guy so much, dude.
Very cool moment. It also kind of reminded me of when Andrew Garfield came up and asked a question in the Spider-Man mask, and he pulled the mask off and revealed it was him.
So good.
Yeah, this was a cool moment. But a guy, we just reviewed Deadpool 2, and I just watched Deadpool and Wolverine again 2 days ago, and it's just like, we're not going to get a guy as enthusiastic about playing a character and has completely bought into the success of a franchise like Ryan Reynolds again. Like, this is like, and we've seen guys come in and completely buy in, but to this level, this guy loves playing Deadpool. I don't think anybody else could play this role when he's done. Like, you can't put anybody else in that suit.
No, because even with the multiverse stuff, how in the world would you, and it's going to be tough enough replacing Logan, but we all know it's going to happen eventually. Although Jackman finally admitted in an interview, was it 2 weeks ago when he was asked about it? He's like, well, I'm 57 now. I guess they got me till I'm 90 or something like that. I'm like, you finally admitted it.
Which is the joke from the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Every time I see that part towards the end where Deadpool whispers to him, until you're 90.
So good.
So funny. But I could be overthinking this. The fact that he came in and asked the question during this specific part of the panel when Robert Downey Jr. was up there, I was like, I think this is the tease that Deadpool will be in Doomsday, guys. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Gambit is revealed. He's already in the trailer. Gambit was in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
I think that this was the small teaser that other characters from that movie will also show up. I think we've all kind of assumed that we might see Wolverine here.
Yeah.
But I think there's a very good chance we could see Deadpool, Wolverine, and maybe even X-23.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't think for a second that, honestly, that Deadpool wasn't in Doomsday. I just think they're having fun with people, as they should. Just having fun with the whole thing. No, I absolutely believe he's going to be there for sure and be in the film. I like that they're trying to play it up, though. I wonder how they'll fit him in. Like, I wonder, because, it's just been confirmed also, Phil, that there's going to be a Deadpool 4. So, like... maybe they got him till he's 90. What do you think about the future of this character, man? I don't want us to get too hung up on it, but like, there's a lot of Deadpool stories left to be told. I mean, do you just keep trying to one-up the last film? How in the world do you one-up Deadpool versus Wolverine, honestly?
Well, I think a lot of people want to see him go back to a self-contained story because, Deadpool and Wolverine was such a big crossover. And I liked it, but it did feel like an overload of characters. You're trying to make this not only a third Deadpool movie, but then you're adding Wolverine to it, and you're trying to make it a send-off to the Fox X-Men universe. And it's a lot to load into one movie. So I think if they just go back to making a self-contained movie with Deadpool, then that'll be what a lot of people want to see.
Yeah, I agree with that. Again, I love Ryan, man. I think Deadpool's, and you and I have talked off mic a lot about this lately, about how, some of the hottest characters in Marvel history, at least in the comic books, have just been overexposed to the point of no return. And Deadpool was one of them. I don't know what the vibe is currently. I imagine the movies have put him back in a big bad way too. Not that he ever really went anywhere, but
yeah. This was a few years ago, but Deadpool and Wolverine was probably the most successful Marvel movie, arguably, since Endgame.
I think you're right.
If not No Way Home, those are the two that were the most successful.
Honestly, I think you're right. It made all the money, for sure.
Yeah.
It was number one.
Yeah, it was really well received at the time. I've seen people now try to say that it was a bad movie, but...
What?
You give people time, they'll hate anything.
I agree. I totally agree. It's disgusting. Let's use this to segue into the Avengers. We have been told that there's another version of Endgame that we all are going to have to watch. I'm okay with that to a certain degree. But, we've been hearing, Phil, that they've shot footage to go with this movie that's going to connect to Doomsday. We're usually not big fans of retrofitting here on this show. Do you think this is doing a little too much, or we have to wait to see what they've actually done here?
I think there's some retrofitting being done, but also they've had to pivot from the Kang storyline and try to do something else. And so I don't think they expected to try to make a direct sequel to Endgame. And so far, the Russos have been saying this is going to be a direct sequel to Endgame. And so I can understand them wanting to add something, whether it be a post-credit scene or something to get people hyped for this movie. Because they have to, really turn this build, so to speak, around to this movie, because you spent the past few years trying to build the multiverse saga a different way.
Yeah, you're right. The Kang thing, man, that Jonathan Major stuff really threw them off their game. Jeez.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think it's going to hurt them in the long run, because it's the Avengers, and you saw as soon as that trailer dropped. I was kind of surprised the trailer dropped before San Diego. I thought that they would have dropped it by the weekend, but they dropped it before the weekend. And when you see the reception to that trailer already, you could just see the difference when there's an Avengers movie. Like they spent the last few years trying to not do an Avengers movie to get to this moment and build anticipation. And I don't know that they entirely succeeded, but there's something about seeing Thor and Cap and a lot of these remaining Avenger characters on screen again.
Yeah. What are they calling this this new Endgame thing? It's Avengers Endgame. It's something. I forget the name they threw on there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I saw it when they announced it, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I thought I had it in my notes. Well, you spoke about the trailer. That brings up a question, because I'm curious what you think. Does Marvel, in your opinion, does this production company, these guys still have the ability to create that moment, like the everyone is talking about it kind of moment? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it just because of the trailer? Are we just curious? I mean, because some people feel, who you are out there, believe that all this RDJ stuff is a gimmick to get people back into the theaters to watch a Marvel film, but they seem to not know that this was done in the comics years ago. It is what it is. But do you think that this is just a spark that we've got here, or this is a sign that they are getting back on track?
It's called Avengers Endgame Encore, by the way.
That's it. Well done.
There's two ways to look at this. There are people that complained about new things and new characters, new actors. Why should we care about these things? And then as soon as they were like, oh, we're going back to the well, we're giving you Robert Downey Jr. again, we're giving you Chris Evans again. And they're like, but why? And it's just like, but we gave you new characters and you guys told us you didn't want that. And so we're breaking glass in case of emergency and bringing the big guns in. Why are you upset? Now,
why are you upset?
I have my thoughts on bringing in Robert Downey Jr. He is a big, massive star. You spent the first 10 years of Marvel Studios building around this guy as Iron Man. He is your big marquee name. I think you could have built a new guy. You could have just cast somebody new as Doom. But am I going to say that I'm not intrigued about where this is going to go with Robert Downey Jr.? Absolutely, I'm intrigued. And based on what we got in the trailer, it's not just him coming in using the same voice. He's using an accent. And some of the stuff that we haven't seen yet, some of the blurbs of his dialogue, they sound pretty great. They've already teased that there is history between him and Reed, which I'm glad we're getting that. There's already reason to believe that he has a connection with other characters. Like, I saw people saying that he's already overpowered. How can he stop the Stormbreaker with two fingers? And some people have already pointed out that he has the runes on his glove.
Oh.
Yeah, if you look at it now, when you see his gauntlet, he has runes on it. The last time we saw runes was Wanda. And, of course, he and Wanda are tied in the comics for reasons. And they showed the the costume for the witches that are going to be on his side, and people have already pointed out one of them might be Wanda.
I mean, I got thoughts about the Wanda stuff too. I feel like, you did all that work with WandaVision, which we have. We did WandaVision here on the show, I think. We did a lot of episodes, kids. But then we also did, the movie with Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness and all this and Wanda. And you're like, I enjoyed the film, but also like all that work they did to flesh out the character and really make you feel for her. And then they just kind of turn her heel, which was interesting. But hey, it is what it is.
I always thought that she was a heel at the end of the show anyway. Maybe it's
yeah,
just me.
that's not a bad point.
You ended the show with her flipping through the Darkhold. That's not something a good guy would do.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, all of the stuff with her and Agatha when she has got her beat dead to rights, and she's like, and Agatha just outright calls her out on it, like, you're not compassionate, you're cruel. Like, you don't feel bad for me. Like, you're reveling in your power like you always do. And it's just like, yeah, Agatha's kind of right about her. And there was really no consequences to this. Like,
It's true.
She went and took over an entire town, and then she got to basically get away with it. That's not something that a good guy does. Like, she doesn't try to make things right. She just kind of just leaves. And it's just like, yeah, I'm going to use this book for selfish means.
Is Doom overpowered? Do you agree?
Well, we haven't seen how he stops the Stormbreaker. Again, the runes kind of point you in the direction. We have to see what is the source of his power in the movie. I have to assume it's going to be some connection to Wanda. I don't think it's just going to be as simple as he's using tech as we know, and he uses sorcery. But I have to assume there's going to be some kind of tie to Wanda. It just makes too much sense. They're already starting to assemble the Young Avengers, and one of the big Young Avengers books at one point is Children Crusade, which is about Wiccan and Speed trying to find their mother, and it turns out she's in Latveria. She's being used by Doom in that book, and I feel like that's where this is heading. I feel like Doom is using her.
Yeah, I mean, I mean that does make a lot of sense. I mean, as we know, Doom is the big bad here, biggest threat facing the MCU. Legacy characters are back. We saw the reveals where the guys are like, everything always happens up here, but maybe something needs to happen back there. And they brought the curtains up and they brought the lights up, and there's the X-Men and the Thunderbolts and everybody. We all just assume, Phil, that these X-Men guys, this is going to be their swan song. Pretty much every one of them. Does any of these folks make it out alive, or is this it for all of them, you think?
I don't think so. I think this is the last time we'll see Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in these roles. I'm glad that James Marsden is getting a last hurrah. I don't think he ever got his due in that trilogy. And so to see him in the comic accurate Jim Lee suit, and to see him actually look the part, and the idea of him actually being able to show off his power set and not just be a plot device to get to the next Wolverine cool moment. Very excited for that. James Marsden seems very happy to be back. He did that interview from San Diego, and he's like, yeah, a lot of fans have wanted this. A lot of fans have wanted to see Cyclops maxing again, so I'm back. And I was like, really excited for that. Really excited for a potential recasting and to see another interpretation of Cyclops, because in a lot of ways, since Marvel has been back in the mix, Cyclops has had a lot of cool moments, whether it be through X-Men 97 or him being put in video games and stuff recently. It's kind of been a summer of Cyclops.
And dude, look, not for nothing, he's got such a great power. It's one of the coolest. Yeah. It's one of the coolest, visual, no pun intended, one of the coolest visual powers we've ever seen, I think, in a comic book film. The optic blasts are the best, man.
Yeah, and he's underrated, I think. It's crazy to say Cyclops, who's been a day one X-Men, is underrated. But I think he's gotten such a bad rep in media outside of the comics, because for a lot of people, Wolverine is the guy. And that's understandable. Wolverine is one of the most popular comic book characters ever. not just X-Men characters, just in general. He's one of the most popular comic book characters there is. But I hated that everybody else had to take a backseat to him in the Marvel franchise. So I'm glad that we're going to get Cyclops again in this way. I hope that in this swan song, because I don't think he's going to survive. I hope that he gets to do some cool things.
Yeah. I don't think he was going to make it out here. Honestly, I'm with you.
Boink Studios YouTube is the home of Tom Clark's 6M podcast. Tom Clark's Main Event, Bear Mode, a podcast review of The Bear, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Subscribe to the channel for archives that date back to 2014, with new content being uploaded every week. And check out boinkstudios.com for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Bookmark the site today.
Let me ask you this. Does bringing back legacy characters, I mean, it's fan service. This company, the studio feel is nothing if not fan service.
Yeah.
And that's why I love them so much versus other studios who say fan service. I got you fan service right here. And they don't care what you want. Marvel's like, make them happy. Give it to them. Let's do this. Let's do that. Is to a degree, however, do you think that are they overshadowing newer characters? Like Ironheart didn't have the best series ever. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, are we overstepping to a degree perhaps here?
If they don't have a plan to move forward and give those characters their spotlight as in movies after this, I agree. But if you're going to do this big Avengers level threat and you're not going to outdo the end of Endgame with all of the characters from that phase coming together against Thanos, the only way you could possibly top that, now that you have the door open to using Tobey Maguire again, or using Hugh Jackman again, or using actors from those X-Men movies again, there's the only way you can top that with this level of threat. And I think that that's the only satisfying payoff to the multiverse stuff, because the multiverse stuff has been built up for so long, and it has been a bumpy ride to get there. A lot of people have been like, why does this matter? Why should I care about this? But that's the only benefit of doing this multiverse stuff at this point, is being able to use actors from other movies and using these characters and calling it a variant. Like, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but just that picture of Tobey in the mix with all the other Avengers, it's like, dude, the idea of Tobey Maguire in this movie, that's exciting. And I know it is fan service, but again, you cannot tell me that's not an exciting moment. I know people have also kind of turned on No Way Home as well, but dude, the idea of and they're saying that Tobey might wear the comic accurate Iron Spider suit in this movie. Like, that's the rumor, and if that's true, I'm all in.
We're talking about Tobey or Tom Holland?
Tobey, the comic accurate Iron Spider suit from Civil War that I always wondered why did they change it, because it looks so great in the book. And if Tobey's donning that suit, that could be awesome. And the next movie, of course, is Secret War. I would not be surprised if that's where they introduce the black suit, because why wouldn't they? There's so many potential ideas here, and I think the great thing about the last 20 or 30 years of comic book movies is we've reached the renaissance of this genre where we're spoiled in a lot of ways. Like, we are out of the era where a movie is just bad. Like, we're out of like the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, or that Captain America made for TV movie. Like, we're out of that era. We're out of David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. We're out of that era. And so even if all of these movies weren't the best thing and they didn't light the world on fire, like, they created memories for people. People grew up on these things just the way, like, if you're a comic book reader for a certain era and you were reading all these things, like, it felt like a big deal when you brought all of these things together in a crossover. We're watching this studio do that with movies in a way that is unheard of.
That's a good point. I just thought about Bill Bixby for some reason. Like he left us a long time ago. I think he had cancer. Wouldn't it have been cool if he had lived long enough for them to work him in a cameo somewhere? That'd been the greatest thing ever, man.
Bro. Man. Mend the fence and put Ed Norton in here. Do something crazy like that.
Yes.
Mend the fence and put Terrence Howard in here. If Terrence Howard showed up as War Machine, like, put him over.
I want to see Dolph Lundgren. Where's Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, dude? I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's so many things they could do here, and I mean, we're already getting like Punisher on film with Spider-Man, which I didn't think was a thing that would ever be done.
No.
Yeah, which by the way, I saw something else, and I've tried to avoid all trailers, anything with Spider-Man now because we're in the week of I don't need to see anything else. I know I'm going to see the movie. I don't need to be spoiled on anything else. And like as soon as I saw a glimpse of something, I immediately picked up my phone and made sure I had a ticket for tomorrow. 'Cause I already know people are going to spoil things.
Oh, for sure. That's a good segue because I wanted to hit on that on this episode too, of course. So, again, and kids, we're not going to spoil it because I've made a point to not go look things up because I don't want to know anything. I want to, like Phil, I want to be surprised. But whenever we get the Punisher, I don't think this will spoil anything for anybody. There's heavy rumors we might also be getting Daredevil in this movie. I don't think those are just rumors. I think we're going to see him. It should be freaking awesome. We've definitely got the Hulk in this movie. We have the Punisher, Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Daredevil in the same movie. I could pass out. I'm telling you right now. We've got the Avengers movies, and I should be over this by now, but I'm not over it. Like, it's still, it's just the coolest thing ever, man. I'm such a nerd. I can't help it, man. Do you think we'd ever get to this point with this movie?
No, I did not. And Tom's got a chance to reach uncharted territory at this point. He's the first live action Spider-Man to get a fourth movie. At this point, I think all three of his movies are more consistently critically acclaimed than any other franchise.
I think you're right.
He's got the chance with the fourth movie to stick the landing in a way that no other live action Spider-Man ever has. And I think he's going to. And I think he's going to cement the claim that I've made for the longest time now. He might be the greatest actor to ever play Spider-Man.
I don't think that's a huge claim. I think that's the truth, honestly.
Well, I mean, people will argue because everybody obviously has their favorites. Some people are
Sure.
big Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi guys, and some people are also big Andrew Garfield fans and feel like he was done a disservice with the Mark Webb movies. And I think he was a great actor in two bad movies, unfortunately.
Yes.
And I think he showed in No Way Home that he is a great Spider-Man.
Yes.
But the amount of time that Tom has played this character, his success in the box office, his success critically, and then just the amount of things we've seen him do on film that no other Spider-Man has ever done. It's hard to argue against it, man. Like, this guy, he's been in Avengers movies. He's gone to space. Like, he's he's been in a giant battle with Thanos. No other live action Spider-Man has done that.
He's everything we thought the Tobey Maguire stuff was going to be. But the Tobey Maguire stuff was so limited because they didn't have this big universe, this big sandbox to play in.
Yeah.
But that's another reason why we're spoiled, right? Because this Spider-Man does have all those toys at the same time.
Yeah. The last thing for him to do is interact with Johnny Storm on screen. That's it. It's over. Dude, you can't compare him to anybody else at that point.
I'd be here for that. Well, you know what? Doomsday's coming. Just saying. I think we'll get it. We know the Fantastic Four is in that movie. Thunderbolts, as we said, X-Men. God, dude. Avengers, Thunderbolts, X-Men, Fantastic Four, all in the same movie. I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. It's freaking nuts. I'm excited for this Spider-Man thing. I want it to be huge. I want it to make all the money. And, man, it's already sold millions of dollars worth of tickets, I think. So, they're going to make some cash off this sucker. What if you had to guess, and by the way, I've not looked up anything. I don't know if you have. If you had to guess, what's the post credits for this movie looking like? It's going to tie to Doomsday. It has to, right?
I have no idea. I assume it's going to be something big. We don't even know who the villain to this movie is yet. Do we?
No. Yeah. Well, who's the villain that can jump from one body to the next?
I'm not sure if that's the villain of this movie. I don't think we've seen the villain of this movie yet.
Interesting. God, man, now that you say it, that's true. They've promoted this entire movie without showing a Green Goblin or a Kingpin or anything. It's just been him kind of swinging around.
Yeah, I mean, they've shown a bunch of like his like rogue gallery. We've seen like minor characters like Scorpion and Captain Boomerang. We've seen like those
Tarantula.
We've seen Tarantula, but like none of those guys are the big bad. We've seen like a glimpse of Tombstone, but again, none of those feel like the big bad.
Just give me Stilt Man from the Daredevil books. Bring back Stilt Man. Yeah, I love that we don't know yet. I love that it's not been ruined.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Hand as well.
Yes.
So,
And
I don't know.
Elektra's back for Daredevil season, Born Again season 3? 2? 3.
3.
She's back. Elodie Young's back, so that'll be cool. Interested to see where all that plays out. I mean, could this be maybe the biggest Spider-Man movie of all time? Possibly.
It's kind of a wild thing to say after No Way Home. How do you get bigger than No Way Home? But
Exactly.
yeah, can't wait to see how this plays out because this is Spider-Man on his own again. This is street level Spider-Man. No galactic threat. This is Spider-Man off on his own. No mentor. Yeah, curious to see how this plays out, but it looks really good. All the trailers look surprisingly good. Again, we're in uncharted territory, guys, because we have never seen a Spider-Man that has been consistently good this way on live action. Like, you haven't seen it. And I'm not the biggest Spider-Man 3 hater in the world, but like, you can't compare Tom's trilogy to Tobey's trilogy. We got to that second movie, and I thought you're not going to get much better than this, and that third movie cannot compare to Spider-Man 2 at all.
There's a reason why we haven't. Oh, wait, we have done that on here. We did do part 3. It's in the archives, kids. See, I'd already forgotten we did it. Yeah, it's going to be huge. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Is there a possibility that we're going to meet Miles Morales and they just kept this under wraps, even the casting? Is it possible?
Maybe. We don't know.
Is that
They've
too
definitely
much?
been keeping it in their back pocket. I've always assumed they were going to wait to formally introduce Miles and give him the reins until they were done with the Into the Spider-Verse movies.
That's right. You are right. Isn't that is that the kind of deal they made, I think?
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's official. That's what I assumed. I assumed they didn't want to do a live-action Spider-Man at the same time as they're doing the Into the Spider-Verse stuff. And so maybe we get a hint of Miles in this movie, but I have to assume until we get the final Into the Spider-Verse movie, we're probably not going to get Miles in the suit.
I think you're right. I seem like there's something came out recently. The Spider-Verse guys, whatever we're saying. But that one side is like, once we're done with him, and then MCU is going to take over. I think you're right about that.
And I mean, they've teased it enough. For 3 movies, they've teased Miles.
Yeah.
We got the tease with Uncle Aaron in the first movie. We got the tease in the third movie with Jamie Foxx saying there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. That's gonna pay off. They're not laying those breadcrumbs for no reason.
That's fair. Yeah. By the way, real quick, back to Avengers. We know we're getting the 2 Avengers films back to back, basically. I mean, is Doom gone at the end of Doomsday, or is it the next film?
Well, that's the other thing I thought. I'm not convinced that Doom is the villain of Doomsday. I think that that's all a red herring. I think that Doomsday is going to be the Avengers or collection of heroes teaming up with Doom to try to stop the incursions. Because even Doom's dialogue in the movie is like, something worse is coming and like you got to make tough decisions. And that leads me to believe this is about the incursions. And all of Thor's dialogue of him saying, like, this is the first thing, we face all these things together, and this is the first thing that scares me. I don't think that Doom scares him that much. I think we're supposed to believe that what that is. I think the threat to existence from the incursions is what he's really, really afraid of.
So what are we talking about? We talking about the multiverse collapsing? What exactly are we talking about here?
Well, the incursions were a big part of Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run, and that's what led to Secret Wars that he wrote, with like the incursions happening, and there was like a secret cabal of Avengers that were coming up with a plan to get rid of any planets that might collide, or any multiverse that might collide with their, and they had to make the tough decisions of like possibly destroying another universe. But that's what makes me think that Doom is the only one that's like, look, it's either us or them, and these other universes have to go, because if they're a threat to us, we have to protect our universe. I think that it's been confirmed that he's from the same universe as the Fantastic Four as well.
I think so. Yeah.
I think the incursions are the big threat, and I think that that's how we get to Secret Wars, because Secret Wars started with the creation of Battleworld.
Ah, that's true. Yeah. Ooh, interesting.
And so I don't think that Doom is the main villain. They did a few scenes in that trailer where they left a few gaps in between characters. And every time they do that, I'm like, I'm not fooled by this, Marvel. I think you edited somebody out. I think it's supposed to be somebody standing in the middle here. And I would not be surprised if they have to reluctantly align with Doom.
Interesting. Oh, I'm here for that. You know why I'm here for that? Number one, it's different, right? Because we're used to there being a big bad. But number two, he does look pretty freaking godlike in that trailer. And like, if you're telling me that all these heroes together can't stop him, then why are we doing this movie? Like, someone has to be able to stop him. But if the point is that's not the point, then that I think is a better story. You know?
Yeah. I think, and I could be wrong, but I mean, that's essentially what happened in the Avengers books leading up to Secret War, is that Doom was just trying to come up with a solution to the incursions. And of course, then he stole the powers of a Beyonder, gave himself the ultimate power, and he became the ruler of Battleworld. Would not be surprised if Doom is not the big bad of this movie. He's the big bad of the next movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I've also seen people go, well, they haven't built up Doom yet. Like, he doesn't. Why should we care about him as a threat? Wouldn't be surprised if this is what Infinity War did for Thanos, and by the end of Doomsday, Doom is in a bigger seat of power after what he did to trick them into thinking like, this is for the better, this is for the benefit of everybody. Because never forget, Doom's entire motive is the world can be a better place and all of this can be saved, but only I know what's right for everyone.
funny how that works.
That's always Doom's motivation of, I am the smartest guy in the room, and I can solve all the biggest problems in the world.
Yeah, don't worry, I got this.
Yeah.
That's the bad guy. All the time. Oh, man, I'm excited for Doomsday. I'm excited for Spider-Man. I want to move on. Talk to me about Ryan freaking Gosling as Ghost Rider. Dude, I am so amped. First of all, I'm excited for him. Let's all be happy for the millionaire. No, I don't mean that way. I like his stuff. I think he's freaking insanely talented. Dude, perfect casting. Unless the movie just ends up being terrible. I love this, man. What's your thoughts on this?
I think, like, it depends on, of course, the Ghost Rider we're going to get. We've had multiple iterations of this character. Obviously, based on the fact that it's Ryan Gosling, I don't think that we're getting Ghost Rider in a hot rod, because that is a very obviously Latino man. So I don't think we're getting Robbie Reyes here. I do think this will be either Johnny Blaze or Danny Ketch. And he looks a lot like Danny to me.
I think so, too.
I think if you're going to do a live action version and it's not Johnny Blaze, like the similarities between him and Danny make a lot of sense.
I think it should be Danny Ketch. I don't know that it will be, but see, by doing it that way, also, you can have a tidbit of Cage, and it doesn't have to be like co-starring Nicolas Cage. You could throw him in for 5 minutes or whatever as Johnny Blaze, and he's since retired. He could be even, it may be in the post-credit scene or something. I don't know. Tom Clark's 6M podcast is sponsored in part by Radius Law Group. Every day, Radius helps individuals, families, small businesses, and nonprofit organizations throughout North Carolina, Florida, and Pennsylvania resolve their legal issues by providing effective legal counsel in the areas of estate planning, as well as elder law and Medicaid. Radius Law holds the radical belief that working with a lawyer can indeed be enjoyable. So give them a call at 1-800-519-5667 for more information and tell them that Tom Clark 6M podcast sent you.
Yeah.
I just think that'd be a nice callback.
Yeah, but immediately intrigued about the idea of another Ghost Rider movie. We've had some attempts at Ghost Rider.
Yep.
I like the first one. It is absolutely a guilty pleasure comic book movie for me. I cannot defend that second one though.
Well, I do remember this one. We've done part 1. We have not done part 2. Kids, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, but I enjoyed the first one with Nicolas Cage for what it is. We haven't had a great Ghost Rider movie yet, so
yeah,
I am curious to see if Marvel can pull that off. Sean Levy is a good choice. I'm sure some people are going to have their reservations about Sean Levy because of his style of filmmaking. It's usually very comedic. He, of course, directed Deadpool and Wolverine as well.
Yep.
Some people are not going to be happy that he's at the helm here because some people want this to be like a serious, more supernatural movie. I personally think the director of the first Doctor Strange movie would have been a better choice because his approach to horror and everything. But we'll see what we get here. I hope that they've got a good script in place.
Yeah, same. I mean, look, anything could go wrong. They brought Mahershala Ali out on stage 5 years ago now and said, "Hey, it's Blade." And then, I don't know that movie's going to happen. I don't think that it is.
The quote from Feige recently about that is very interesting. Did you see that?
I did, but I cannot remember what he said now. Because he was in an interview with somebody else, I think, wasn't he?
He said he felt like a loser because he did not get
it.
that movie off of the ground, and he couldn't make this happen. And he tried to say that he wanted to do something more than just put Ali in a leather jacket and put him against vampires. Now, it seems like that is just a simple thing to do, right? Just put this guy in a leather jacket, have him beat up some vampires, and a lot of people would be satisfied with that. There's some undertone to that, though. I don't know if I read it the same way as everybody else, but there's some undertone there.
Interesting. How do you mean?
There have been rumblings for a while that Mahershala Ali has been, how do I say this, in conversation for the development of this movie. The sets that were used for Sinners were initially supposed to be sets for the Blade movie.
That's right. Yes.
And at one point, I think that it was pitched for the Blade movie to be a period piece. And
interesting.
There's been a bunch of, as we've seen, there's been like a director that's come in and then they left the project. There was a screenwriter that came in. I think there's been multiple screenwriters that came in and they left the project. I think there are disagreements with the leading star of this thing about the movie that they should make. And I think that is partially why this movie has not been made. And I think that Feige doesn't want to just say that because, of course, he doesn't want to just throw Ali under the bus. But I think that that's part of this. And there's been rumblings of that for a little while. And just because what else could it be? It's just the Blade movie. Like, there's no way you're going to tell me that a Blade movie is harder to make than a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. There's no way you're going to tell me that Blade is a tougher sell for an audience than a talking tree. You can't. You can't convince me of that. And you can't convince me that Marvel is sitting there like, oh, we don't know what kind of movie to make with Blade. I really think that there are creative disagreements between Ali and the company. I think there have been creative differences between the director, and I don't think that they found the right duo yet. And the difference between something like Black Panther, for example, or James Gunn is you've had somebody that came in with a vision specifically for what they wanted to make, and then they brought in the actors second. This has been kind of different from the beginning. They brought in their leading man, and then you've been trying to make the right vision for this around him.
Yeah.
I mean, even look at from the start of this thing, you already had, from if I remember correctly, you already had Favreau in place by the time they brought in Robert Downey Jr.
I think, yeah, because he wanted RDJ, didn't he?
I believe so, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, everything about this is different, and there's no way I believe that that's not playing into the pre-production issues with this movie.
Yeah, because, you know, for years we've been thinking about who could play Bond, right? And like who could take over. And like the longer we talk, we're all just getting older. So like the longer this Blade movie doesn't happen, Ali today could be in the best shape of his life. What about a year from now? What about 2 years from now? 5 more years from now? We're all getting older. I don't know, man. I'm just, part of me is like, you know, I don't know if it's actually going to happen now. I feel like that this was a great idea. It's a period piece. Who cares? He doesn't age. He could, by the end of the movie, you could put it right now. He's the same guy. What's the problem?
And
You
I
know?
mean, we've seen this before where a leading guy had creative differences and he wanted to have producer credits and he wanted to have a say-so in where the franchise went. And that guy got the boot. If you
Very
guys
true.
don't know, I'm talking about Ed Norton.
Yes, for sure. Jesus.
So I would not be surprised, and I don't want it to make it seem like, you know, I'm painting Mahershala Ali as difficult. But I
Not
would
difficult.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just not they haven't met the right common ground on the movie that they want to make.
I feel, yeah, difficult's not the word. I feel like he's got an idea. He wants to roll with it, or he's at least got heavy input, and they're wanting to go another direction.
But I mean, that's not necessarily his fault because again, it's different if you bring Ali into the project and you already have the script, and he came in and he was already happy with the script we're bringing in. No, you brought him in before there was a script, before there was anything. You're trying to start the franchise with the fact that he came in and said that he wanted to play Blade. And because that's the case, he's going to feel like he should have input in the movie that is made. And I can't say that that's not fair to the way that he came into the project, because again, it's different if you pitched him on the script from the beginning. That's not the creative process that happened.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And we're talking about only getting older. Mahershala Ali is 52.
Wow. I didn't know he was that old.
And I was speaking about Idris Elba, I was alluding to earlier, to play Bond. He's 53. So, like, not the end of the world. I happen to be a certain age myself, but I feel pretty good. Could I go run up across buildings and stuff and stunt roll and stunt fight? Maybe not. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Speaking of mine, I don't know if you saw the first trailer for the Thomas Crown Affair, directed by Michael B. Jordan. Looks
I saw
pretty
the poster. Is it?
Trailer looks pretty great, and boy, did it hit differently when the opening credits for this trailer had Academy Award winner Michael B. Jordan. I was like, man, good for that guy.
Yeah, no kidding. I love that guy, man. Well, you know, if the Blade thing, fingers crossed, kids, we're not doomsaying it, to steal a pun, because I want it to happen, right? But like, man, if this Ghost Rider movie is successful, dude, I'm gonna put it this way: if Ghost Rider is successful at that point, wouldn't you want to go to Ali if you haven't yet and said, "Look, let's go." What do
Yeah.
you got? Let's go. Because, man, you could connect Ghost Rider to Blade, Doctor Strange. You could
Yeah.
do the Midnight Suns thing that everybody wants to see, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying so much about this is different than what we usually see from Marvel Studios. Even when you brought in Chadwick before you had Brian Coogler and you were ready to start building the Black Panther franchise, you brought him in specifically for Civil War. You brought him in with a script in place where they knew how they were going to introduce the character. We didn't have any of that for Blade. You didn't have a movie that you were ready to put him in. You just had a big name actor that came in and said, "I want to play this character." And yeah, so you don't have a director in place. You don't have anybody with a vision for what they want to do with this franchise yet. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree. It just seems to be a mess behind the scenes. And by the way, good for Feige for saying what he said, because like it was a little heavy-handed to throw it all on himself, but I liked that he didn't sound like an executive. He's just like, I feel like a loser that this didn't get done. Like he could have just said, well, things happen, and the corporate speak. He didn't do that. I like the guy already. I really liked that response. I thought that was pretty classy. So.
Yeah, because I think from his point of view, I think he's looking at it like, guys, look, we really wanted to make this movie. We really want this to be a success. We want the fans to like this. And we just haven't found the way to appease all parties involved. And that's why I said that there's a little bit of an undertone to it. It just kind of feels like he feels like this is uncharted territory for him, where we haven't been able to just like get the right pieces in place to put the movie in front of people. Like to have a star of Mahershala Ali's caliber for 5 years and not be able to just put this project out. He's got to feel like we've never let the fans down in a way like this.
This has never happened. And, this is not directed toward Ali. I'm a big fan, right? It's not to him personally. But, buddy, when you sign on with this studio, you have to be on the same page. Like, you can't – I guess you can. But I don't think you should approach a Marvel film the way you would any other project you've ever been offered. Because when you sign up for a Marvel film, you're signing up for more than just one film. You're signing up for the convention circuit. You're signing up for merchandise. You're signing up for – to make, do things for the fans, big events. And, Phil, you could make the argument that the bigger the franchise and the franchise is supported by loyal fans, buddy, you're doing a lot more than just playing a role. You become that guy for them or that girl for them. And like, Ollie's a smart guy. I'm sure he knows all this, but like, that's maybe why it shouldn't be treated as just maybe another role. Do you know what I mean? It should be something way more than that, because it is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, of course, you gotta give the investment of your time.
Yes,
because we've heard that more than once that you come in and you have to commit a lot of time. But that's why I'm like, there's so much about this is so different than any other circumstance for any other actor, because again, he didn't come in with a script, he didn't come in with a director in place. And I think that's part of the issue here.
I agree. Well, I've left what I think is possibly the biggest headline. I've left it to the end, and you've already helped us segue there, Phil. Black Panther 3. Kids, we have been saying on this here little podcast for years since we lost the great Chadwick Boseman. And I think you and I said it at the same time on the same episode. When he passed, this will be recast. Chadwick would have wanted that, I assume, just as the fans, as much as it hurts, and it still does to a large degree, the character deserves to go on. And that's why we've got David Johnson as T'Challa's son. And, buddy, I'm as excited for this as I think anything that happened in Hall H last weekend. This, to me, is... Did it not feel like it hit at the right time? Did you have any sort of, this feels weird? It felt like everything was perfect for this announcement.
If more than anything, I feel like this was one of the announcements that it didn't feel like this was me excited for Marvel Studios. This felt like I'm excited that Ryan Coogler is still enthusiastic about this project.
Because he is.
That he still has unfinished business here, and he still has his ideas that he wants to implement moving forward. And not just that, Marvel Studios believes in this guy enough, and they trust him enough to let him make his decisions and to do things his own way. He can do anything he wanted after the success of Sinners. This movie broke records for Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
He could go to any studio at this point and they give him the keys to the kingdom. He decided, he's already still on tap, I believe, for one more movie, I think.
You might be right, yeah.
He still owes them one more movie, but to have the trust to come in and say, all right, I didn't want to recast this, but we're ready to go with the next T'Challa. And I want to do it my way. I already have my story in place with his son. I have the guy that I have for this movie. He made the choice. And to come in and say he wants to come in and film this movie on film. No other Marvel movie is filmed on film. And so that in itself is a big deal. For him to come in with what was successful with Sinners in the way that he filmed that movie and want to bring that to this franchise as well. And again, Marvel trusts him at this point to just, it's yours. This is your baby. Run with it. I think that is just unbelievably inspiring for him because we don't get to see a lot of black men helm a franchise like this. And to see that the trust that they've had in him from the very beginning, we trust what you want to do with this character. And it's just so much about it that, because we've seen the growth of this, not just even if you look at it, we've seen how fruitful his working relationship was with Michael B. Jordan. They've made multiple movies together and they just continue to knock it out the park together. And so seeing how beautiful it was for Michael to get up there and receive an Academy Award for a leading man in a movie directed by Ryan, and to see how far they had come together. That was awesome. But then also to immediately feel bittersweet and feel like he's never going to get that moment with Chadwick.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
And I feel like that plays into a lot of what he does with this franchise. And I know some people aren't going to agree with that because there's been the online campaign to recast Black Panther for the past few years. And, I get it. I get feeling like, this character is bigger than Chadwick. But it's such a unique situation. It's not like we had our movies. We got to make 2 movies together. We got to make a trilogy together, and he tragically passed away. He passed away right after the first one, but we had just gotten started.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's not like this was just a guy. This was his friend.
Yeah.
And this was a guy that was close with his other working relationship in Michael B. Jordan, and you had built this camaraderie with that cast and how they felt around him, how they galvanized around him as their leading man, and they lost him before they could even get going and get a second movie. And so I always loved that Marvel gave him the chance to honor him with a second movie and to grieve the loss of this man that gave his life to putting black men and positioning black characters on film. And they could have easily just gone back to business and told him the show goes on, just recast the character. But they didn't. They let him celebrate him and what he did with that first movie. And I thought he deserved that.
There had to be time.
Yeah, and to allow him to do that and then also trust him to have enough time to grieve with that second movie and then come back and go, okay, we're ready with our next leading man. And we trust you to do that going forward. I think there's something really powerful about that because we don't see a black director wield that kind of power at one of these big studios. That's unheard of. And I mean, he earned that with the success of the first movie. That's $1 billion film. This is a $1 billion franchise. By the way, for everything I said about Sinners, and it broke records for Oscar nominations, he didn't win for it. He won for Black Panther.
That's right.
And so to see him come back with this franchise and be able to do it his way, and Marvel to continue to trust him to do it his way, whether it be filming it the way he wants it and casting the guy that he wants, or spending the time in the second movie and giving Chadwick his flowers and allowing Shuri to be the lead for that. It's really, really inspiring, man. And so for that alone, just the idea of seeing Ryan come back for a third movie, I'm really happy that they're allowing him to do this, because this could have gone either way. I mean, we've seen that even if you take Ryan out of it and you take the fact that we don't let black directors do this, we don't get a whole bunch of these movies where you have a consistent vision from the first movie to the third movie. And like one of the big examples I can think of is Sam Raimi. And you see by the third movie, the studio was meddling and not letting him make the movie he wanted to make. And in this example, they're not doing that. You're letting him continue what he wants to do with this trilogy. And I think that that's really admirable.
It's great. It's another example of, and look, Marvel doesn't get everything right before anybody goes nuts on me. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, man, it's another example. I feel like of Marvel making a valid attempt to say, hey, this ain't broke. We're not going to try to fix it. Let the guy work.
Yeah. And I mean, they could have easily came in at any point and told him, okay, just recast the character.
Yes.
They could have gave him his moment with the second film and then came back and said, okay, we're giving you your time. Recast the character now. They're still letting him go his route with it. And I think that that's great. I mean, when you think about it, like I said, the Avengers movies don't even have a singular vision behind it. Yeah, the Russos came in and they eventually brought it together, but the first two movies are Joss Whedon movies. And then the Russos took over. I mean, the Cap movies, I believe the only two out of the four are directed by the same director.
Joe Johnson?
Well, Joe Johnson directed the first one, and then the
That's
Russos directed the second and third one. I think.
Okay.
I'd have to double check that, but I believe the Russos directed, because they directed Civil War, right?
Yes.
Okay, and they also, I believe, directed Winter Soldier.
I think that's right.
So yeah, I mean, the closest we've gotten to a singular vision behind a trilogy is, of course, James Gunn with the Guardians movies, and then the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. What do you know about David Johnson? I know him from The Long Walk. That's the only thing I know him from.
I don't know that much about him. I've seen him in some things here and there. People raved about him in Aliens Romulus. And I mean, he looks the part. That picture of him right next to Chadwick, he looks like Chadwick. It's like,
right?
It's spooky. He looks like him. Like he looks like he could be his son.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It looks like perfect casting. And again, like that, I was already excited for a third Black Panther movie, but like when he brought him on and you could see how excited he was to take on the reins and step into these shoes, I was like, that's really cool, man. And then again, like you have like the emotional connection to the second movie, because boy, that movie is still hard to watch and I get emotional.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I think one of the more rewarding moments is the post-credit scene when we meet Toussaint,
yes,
aka T'Challa Jr. And so I was wondering how we're going to get the payoff of this. We don't know how they're going to age him for it, but whatever they decide to do, I'm in for the ride. We're getting more Shuri and Doomsday. It's not like they're just going to just brush Shuri off and not complete her journey. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this is happening. And I mean, there's so much about Black Panther 3 that isn't even talked about. I mean, this is going to be one of Denzel Washington's last movies. Ryan Coogler got Denzel Washington to do a Marvel movie. That in itself is like amazing.
Mind-blowing.
And like, I don't know who he's going to play in this, but like just the
I don't
idea.
care.
Yeah, just the idea of Denzel in this movie is really cool. I mean, I've seen people say that maybe Denzel is going to play aged forward T'Challa. He's going to be an older T'Challa, and that's how we get like him and his son moving forward. I don't know, but even if that's not the case, I don't care. Like I said, I don't care what he's doing. He could be the villain in this movie for all we know. I'm in.
Yeah, sign me up.
And
Dude, we have a universe where we had Denzel and Robert Redford in the same. How is this even possible, man?
but I mean, even if you just look at this corner of the Marvel universe and the respect that Coogler has brought to this franchise, and when you just look at the cast of characters that he's brought to film, and like he had a franchise that at one point had Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Chadwick, Michael B. Jordan, and now you're adding Denzel Washington to that. Like that's a who's list of black actors. That's and like all of those, like a lot of those names I just named have been either nominated for or have won Oscars.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, seeing everybody up on stage, there's a massive group photo that's freaking phenomenal. And you don't appreciate how big Winston Duke is until he's on stage with normal size humans. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm leaving Winston Duke out. Winston Duke as well, great actor.
Great.
He's a Forrest Whitaker in the first one. Like
That's true.
Like, the who's who of black actors that he's managed to work with in this franchise is really incredible. And yeah, I think that I'm excited to see what they do with this third one. I think that the casting is great. Of course, you're gonna have your detractors right away. I saw people that are immediately complaining, but I'm like, bro. We are so spoiled, man. I cannot say that enough. At one point, I did not think we would get a Black Panther movie that was as good as this first one. And I really think that the second one is underrated. I don't think people give the second one the credit it deserves. And, you know, I don't know. I thought that Angela Bassett should have won the Oscar for that as well. She was nominated but did not win. I thought she should have won because she was fantastic in the second one.
Fantastic. She was so good, man. You're 100% right. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, you know, you put your trust in the creators who do it right, and Coogler's done it right. I mean, how in the world anybody could not... Well, we know the world we live in. I'll try not to lament it too much, but...
I mean, and that's why I'm saying it would have been so easy for Marvel Studios to come in and go, like, this is our IP.
Yes.
We know best for this IP. You know, you just do what you're told. And we've had other creators that came in and could not make it work with them. Like, you know, infamously, the first Ant-Man movie and how, you know, that ended up changing hands. I think Ava DuVernay at one point was brought in, and that didn't work out. And that's why I'm saying, like, for them to put this much trust in him, it's not like they don't just do that with anybody.
No, that's fair. Yeah. Look, as we're wrapping this up, because I believe we've got through at least all the major things that happened with Marvel at Hall H. Moving forward, and I know this is going to be tough because Doomsday hasn't even happened yet. But, you know, we've been hearing rumblings about Young Avengers. Possibly they'll set that up by the time Secret Wars gets here. You know, kids, if you think people are going to be upset at recasting Black Panther, try telling folks that 20-somethings are going to be in the lead roles of Avengers. I'm not saying it won't work, but I think that'll be a tough road to hoe. Do you think the studio is going to be able to create, like, I don't want to say stars, but like new icons the way they did with Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man? I mean, we've got years and years and years of backstory, and then we're supposed to believe that Kate Bishop, who's a fine character, bam, she's Hawkeye now or whatever. Like, is that going to be I guess the best way to answer it, Phil, is we'll wait and see how it's scripted. I don't know, but what do you think about all that?
I think it was there was an actor that said this, and I can't remember. It might have been Anthony Mackie. But he was saying how we're kind of out of the era of movie stars, right? And
I agree.
this isn't the era of you selling the movie off of the movie star. And we remember like the stories of like getting the first X-Men movie made and how they had to attach a star as big as Halle Berry to get the studio to bite. That's not the thing anymore. We're in an era where IP is king. And like at this point, whatever the property is, whatever the franchise is, whatever the character is, that's the selling point for people. And because of that, Marvel kind of has a leg up in a way that they don't have to, make the next star. You don't have to make the next celebrity or the next actor into the next star. You just have to successfully get people to buy into the character. And I think they were on their way to that with Kang, unfortunately. But like some of these other characters, I don't think they're going to be that tough of a sell. I think when we finally get like what is the reboot of X-Men, because these characters are so popular, these are flagship characters.
They are.
You've really, if you're Marvel Studios, you had your getting it out of the mud decade where you had to turn a D-lister like Iron Man into really the mascot of your studio. That was a tougher move than making an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
By far. Like making an interesting Iron Man movie and getting people to buy into Iron Man is a lot tougher than rebooting X-Men.
Yeah, gosh. And the way that they propelled Iron Man, the books, after the movies hit.
Yeah, I mean, their success with Captain America alone. I mean, just think about you showed that Doomsday trailer, and the big reveal was Steve Rogers. Can you imagine 20 years ago if that was the big reveal? Like some people didn't care about Captain America. Like they wouldn't have cared about their reveal at all. But because you did the work and you got to the big moment in Endgame with Cap leading the team, now Cap showing up again feels like a big deal. And that's why I'm saying all of that is a lot harder than getting people to care about an X-Men movie or trying to bring in new characters and create a new Avengers movie.
What's the thing you're most excited for coming out of Hall H and everything that we got? What's you most excited for?
Black Panther 3 by
Yeah.
far. Very, very excited to see what Ryan does with this franchise. I have to assume because they've already cast T'Challa, we're gonna see him somewhere before that movie is made. It might not be Doomsday, maybe it'll be Secret War, but I have to assume that there's a reason he's already cast.
Yeah, why even talk about it? Why not just that's a good point. Yeah.
Because I mean that was the same when by the time we saw Chadwick for the first time, we already had him on deck for Civil War.
It's true.
So I have to assume they're probably gonna set up the time jump or the reasoning before we get to Black Panther 3.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for it. I'm excited for Gosling, but I'm really excited for Black Panther 3, so I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Well, kids, as we get out of here today, as we said earlier, we're on the eve of the new Spider-Man flick, and depending on when you hear this, it could be way after the fact. So by that time, we'll know if it was worth all the hype. I'm hoping it is. I believe we'll probably be okay because, Phil, as we've said before, they may not come out for every movie, but they're going to come out to see the Spider-Man movies and the Avengers movies and the Batman movies for sure because they want the flagship characters. Hopefully, as we said, man, the titles, the properties themselves, the IP sells itself, which I like that. I like that theory. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I hope that works out the way we believe it will. Was this? We can't say this was their best Hall H because that's a tall order. It's got to be top 5, doesn't it? Their best Hall H's.
Yeah, I feel like in comparison to the last few years, sure, but it's tough to recapture that magic of Tom Hiddleston up there, or even when we saw Josh Brolin for the first time with the Gauntlet, and I don't know. It still feels like they have to regain some trust with people after the last few movies, and I don't think it's been as dire as people made it out to be, but
Me neither.
this is definitely the most ground they've had to make up in a long time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. Well, Phil, before we get out of here today, if there's a way to narrow it down, let's get your last word on Marvel news, Marvel reveals, and Hall H this year.
I mean, it's wild at this point that Marvel Studios has reached the popularity and the success that they have, that this is still even a thing. And we keep hearing about superhero fatigue every few years, and still seems like people are still excited for these things. And even though, like, there's more negativity than there's been before, but I don't know. That Black Panther reveal still feels like a pretty big deal. And that just tells you the success of Black Panther and just how much that has transcended the success of that character in comics. Like, now, Black Panther is a household name, which is just insane to think about, but that's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mind-blowing, for sure. Kids, there's a lot more to come. We'll review that new Spider-Man film here on the show, just as we're going to probably review everything we just talked about here today. That Ghost Rider film for sure. Black Panther 3. That Blade movie.
If it ever happens.
If it ever happens, Ali will be 75 and we'll all be way older than we are now. So fingers crossed, kids. We'll see what happens. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out here on the 6M podcast, for subscribing, liking, sharing, and following on the YouTube. Please remember to visit us on boinkstudios.com. We've got content dating all the way back to 2014 on the YouTube, kids, and nothing's behind a paywall. So we appreciate your time and for sharing and liking and all that good stuff. And let us know what you think in the comments about the show. Also, as you can see, we're trying a different format with the 6M. If you're listening to the audio show, you don't know the difference. But we're trying the only video we've ever done are the watch-alongs. We're going to try to start going video full-time. Be sure you check out Phil and Righteous Rage on Grapsody as well. And great podcast over there, kids. Again, thanks as always for hanging out. And we will see you next week with a brand new episode of the 6M. But until then, that is Marvel at Hall H. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Check out our social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at 6M Podcasts. We'll see you next time.